Good evening to one and all. I'm very happy to resume the Alumni Google Meet with one another from a very vibrant batch of 2014. Welcome, Supraja, for coming forward to share your experiences. I'm not going to stand between you and your senior, but just a short introduction of what I have already sent. She is a chemical engineering graduate from 2014. She went on to then pursue her MBA from one of a very good B school, Xavier's, and now she is an HR manager. I think that sums up her career journey, the broad spectrum that she has covered. And I'm very sure that the current students will be benefited from the wisdom, how she has traveled from chemical engineering to MBA and now an HR manager, and how you can actually face interviews when you are thrusted upon by an Supraja. To all of you that she has also been the vice chairperson of her time, and it was during their batch they began the most celebrated event that we have now as CAPE. So with this introduction, I leave to Supraja, and Supraja, you can take over. Thanks for coming in the alumni meet.
Sure. Thank you, sir. So I hope I'm clear and audible, and thank you, Naren, sir. Without you, no CAPE and no alumni sessions as well. So thank you very much for the opportunities continually happening. And I'm really flattered that on a Saturday night we have so many people attending. So I hope I can make some sense to all the people who have taken their time. I think before I have some agenda to cover, but before I start, any three of you could unmute and tell about what is your expectation or what do you think you want to take away from this session. Any three of you, please feel free. I think the topics will be similar, the expectations. Nobody wants to tell what's your expectation from this call?
Probably they are in a noisy environment, or they can text. If you're not able to unmute and talk, probably you can text also so that she can read it. So you can put in a message in the Google chat what you expect from this talk.
Maybe I'll wait for 30 seconds if anybody wants to text.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. This is Akash.
Hi, Akash.
Actually, I have no clue about what's happening when they say HR interview. It seems to be like a pretty fuzzy thing or a fancy word. Apart from that, I have no clue what's happening. So I hope I hope to get more clarified on this and how it tests our skills and what are we lacking, how to nail, how to do that test well, like that.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. So anyone else, you want to put it on the chat?
Yeah, maybe I can start and you can also put it on the chat. It's not like you have to put it right away. But I think what Akash said pretty much sums up majority of your thoughts, unless you've already faced HR interviews. So I'll just try to share my screen. Let me know if you can see it. Is the screen visible?
It will take a little time to share. I think it is sharing probably. It's not yet visible. It is not started. Just share it again. Yeah, it is now starting. Wait.
Okay.
Yeah, it's now visible.
PPT is visible, right?
Yes. Nurturing the manager in you.
Sure. Okay. So I would like to start with the why I have put it in quotes you, because this talk is more about not about me or my journey. I will touch upon it, but more about how is it beneficial to you. So that's why I've put the you in the double quotes. So this is pretty much my status. What happens if engineers ran HR? So I pretty much don't like to talk to people. So it's an online feedback and interaction program. I would like to design an online feedback and interaction program so they never have to speak face to face. But no choice. I'm in HR and I love my job. But this program could help. Are you still able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how my journey started. This is, as you can see, a trail of confusions. I took 12th biology group with a doctor dream, but I think my 12th cutoff didn't support that, and I came into chemical engineering with so much passionate about working in the chocolate industry. But as Naren sir said, we worked on CAPE, and that was a turning point in my decision making as well. I felt that. I'm more better in organizing than doing a calculation in chemical engineering. So I felt that MBA is my calling, and I did my MBA specializing in HR, and now I'm a manager HR in an IT company. So to most of you who see this, some of you might have the first 2 points already, having some other dream in your 12th standard and now in chemical engineering. And some of you might be in a thought to do MBA. And there are still questions. There are still questions people ask, is MBA the right choice after engineering? Is this something to do, or is it like going in a different directions? So I hope to answer some questions there. So how Shastra helped in my MBA? This will be very similar or very reflective of your journey as well, because the same things I think you also would go through. One is symposiums. So the CAPE or any kind of symposium which we handled helped us to lot to bring out the organizing skills in us. So if you think you're able to organize, if you think you're able to take people's views into your decision making and come out with a good solution, I think that's the trait of managers in you. Management or managerial capacity is not something which you have to study, or it's not like calculus, it's not like Fourier transforms where you have to study for a lot of time. It's in you. It's about bringing it outside and see whether it's matching your calling. That is all about management, and these are some of the areas which will bring about your capacity in management. Symposium is one area, definitely. We had a lot of struggles. We had 2 days, and those 2 days were time crunched, and it's about how you organize yourself and how you organize the others' time as well. Hostel life. So I mean, it's very sad. Some of you are missing the hostel life, but there were a hub of activities, and every activity it involved a lot of people connection. So I felt that is something also which is a big takeaway, which is grooming in our corporate world. And analytical thinking and exposure. Being an engineer, all of you have a great advantage than your other peers who will come into your MBA. So people who come into MBA will have commerce background, will have arts background, science background, but you as engineers will have definitely an edge over them. Your analytical thinking and your exposure will be definitely over the mark. And that's why if you see people who get into IIMs or who get into high-level colleges who get the cutoff, most of them are engineers, because they have the analytical thinking which is needed. So Shastra gave these 4 aspects of my MBA, which led to my MBA. And if these aspects are present in some areas of your journey as well, then definitely MBA is the right choice. There was one more takeaway. I mean, my husband is a takeaway from Shastra. It's okay.
Fantastic, huh?
Okay. So this is the most commonly faced question. Okay, this question I'm facing even today. What is your UG degree? Engineering. Oh, there is a surprise. And specialization chemical. They're even more surprised. Why HR then? So these are the 2 topics I'm going to cover. One is MBA after engineering. Is it the right choice, or is it totally not at all? I mean, tangentially different. And placement worries in a pandemic world. I know most of you are, you have started your engineering. You have started going to start your career during the pandemic situation. And you might be worried whether the placement is a concern there. But I'm here to share some good news with you about the placement worries in the pandemic world. Definitely, it is a positive aspect. So MBA after engineering, one is it hones your analytical and decision making skills. If you are a person who is analytical, who is a right decision maker, right decision or wrong decision, stay with that. MBA is the right choice. Good in organizing, MBA is definitely a right choice. I mean, organizing is what is organizing is not about whether you keep your room clean, you keep your study table organized. That is not the organizing I'm talking about. Whether you keep your schedule organized, whether you keep other people's schedule organized for you, who's dependent on you, that's organizing. Take chance in any kind of symposium or any organizing event which takes place. Management field is all about balance, balancing your priorities versus balancing other people's priorities. That is the management field which comes here. So a person, if you just take a situation, you do an MBA and you join a company, nobody's going to right away put you as a manager, and you're not going to get a budget of 50 lakhs P&L account or a profit and loss account of 50 lakhs and ask you to manage it. It starts from organizing your Excel sheets. It starts from organizing your basic day-to-day meetings. That's about management. And there is where you can make a difference. I mean, people who do management, marketing management in IIMs, they end up selling, day-to-day soaps in ITC. I'm not telling that as a negativity, but that to that level is where we need to be hands-on. It's not about sitting in a glamorous cabin and trying to manage everything. That's not management. So if you think that is going to be about MBA, that's not going to be MBA. It starts from, if you're planning to do marketing, it starts from selling soaps to designing a branding strategy. And unlearn and relearn. Being an engineer, it's going to be very difficult in one aspect. That's what I felt. We are very used to seeing things in a tangential way, seeing things in a tangible way. For example, we know that if a chemical is poured, phenolphthalein changes color. We know that. But in management, you can't see tangible results. It's all about, you can't touch or feel things. It's about how you demonstrate the aspect. That's going to be very different. That is something which you need to unlearn and which you need to relearn aspect. And Excel, you might be great in everything, but Excel skills is something which will take you to greatest places in your corporate. Be it whether you're going to be in a core job, whether you're going to do your higher studies right from MS, or you're going to join any company, please hone your Excel skills. That's something which is very important. And if you think that HR is a career for you, HR is not about being a people person. Like I myself have seen many people saying that I'm an HR, I like people, that's why I want to be HR. HR is not about being a people person. It's about seeing the value of people. So there is a difference. We are not counselors, or we are not therapeutic people. We are more of how to get the value for the organization. It is a strategic role. And it is a double-edged sword. You need to balance the management and you need to manage the employees. So it is kind of a strategic role. It's not about, HR is always not about trying to take, it's not about people whom you see during interviews. They are not the only HR you see. So I'd like to stop here and ask if anybody has any questions, or anybody wants to ask about anything related to MBA, because the next slide is more about the interview aspects and about the job aspects.
Yeah, I think people, if you're not able to unmute and speak, you can put it in the chat, and I think she can just see in the chat. So the one response in the chat is for the older one that you have asked. So
yes,
what are you looking for? Yeah,
I did see that.
So others, yeah. So you can text in the chat.
Okay, I will move on, and if at all you have any questions, you can always put it there.
If there is a question, I will unmute and ask. Let them put in the chat so that it is easier for you.
Sure.
So you can skip, because when you're sharing the screen, you will not be able to see the chat.
Yes. So my screen is visible.
If the question comes, I will interrupt and
my screen is visible right now?
Yeah, your screen is visible, but you won't be able to see the chat, right?
Yes.
From your end. So if the question comes, I will stop and then ask that question to you.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, now right, jumping to the point where career in a pandemic world. First, I would like to give insights about the job market. Okay, so if you're a person who is either in final year or third year, and if you're thinking about a career either in, I mean, I'm not going to touch about the aspects of people going to higher studies because that is different from a job market. But if at all you are a person who wants to join either a core industry or an IT company, both options are open. Or if you want to join a management company, I would just like to touch about the job market opportunities. Market is hot and in demand. What I mean by that is there are number of opportunities in the field right now, and every company is hiring for people. The post-pandemic world where we are living in currently, I mean, though the COVID is not completely over, but we have crossed the phase where it was a shocker, right? So new opportunities has come up, not only in chemical engineering, in a lot of areas. So the market is very hot and in demand. So no, this is not like a 2018 2008 recession where you need to worry about your future. That's not the case. The market is definitely hot and in demand because of the virtual hiring and virtual work from home, right? This has opened a lot more of opportunities than limitations. So now a company sitting in Delhi can hire you. Earlier, they used to feel, okay, I need to come down, have a full interview, spend a lot of money. All that cost has been reduced. So they can have a virtual interview and hire you directly. So in this aspect, there are more opportunities which has opened up rather than limitations. And there has been a lot of fluidity in career choices, like either tech field or managerial field or techno-functional field. Now people are not only looking at your degree as a concern. Like if I'm an HR who's looking at somebody's resume, I see that they have done a lot of certifications in some other area. I feel, okay, good, they can fit in there as well. So what you apply need not directly be the job which you will land up in. So there's a lot of fluidity in career choices. This is the most important thing what I wanted to tell. I think because of the COVID, if you're working from, I mean, if you are having classes from home, you might have some time in your hands. Start applying or start doing virtual internships. Being a chemical engineer, it might be difficult to do a virtual internship, but it's not an impossible thing to do. Start applying for virtual internships. It maybe or may not be paid an internship, but if at all college agrees, I mean, I don't see a reason why college should say you should not spend time unless it's affecting your studies. But whenever you get free time, apply for virtual internships, and a lot of companies are more than happy to take virtual interns and give them the advice. So this is the, I mean, I have MBA interns who are doing internship in my team, who have not yet finished the course, but they're doing internships every 2 months, every 3 months to hone their skills. Because currently you have a disadvantage that you're not meeting everybody, but virtual internships will help you to break that barrier. Interview. Okay, now interview preparations. By interview preparations, I'm talking about your technical aspects. Yes, that's something you need to prepare, but you also need to prepare about what you're going to talk or what you want to reveal about yourself. It's not only, I mean, that is relevant to the next question. When somebody asks to tell about yourself, if you state something obvious which is already there in the resume, if you say your name, hi, my name is Supraja, I'm doing my third year chemical engineering, obviously the recruiter knows that, right? The hiring manager knows that you are sitting right in front of him and he has come to take the interview. And if you say things like I'm studying in Sastra University, obviously we know that that's not something we are looking at. And if somebody asks about yourself, please bring out at least 2 or 3 strengths about yourself. You could tell points like I was a, if it was me, I would say I was a chairperson in my vice chairperson in my cape, I organized this, I felt that gave me that learning. Give some topics for the recruiter or for the hiring manager or the HR to steer the topic. I mean, I'll give you a tip. You can steer your own interview. It need not necessarily be that you have to answer the questions. You can steer your own interview. Interviewers want to know about you. So if you talk about your strengths, they will start asking about that area. If you start talking about your, if you just say I'm doing my third year chemical engineering in Shastra, obviously the interviewer can ask whatever they want, right? So try to steer the interview in your way. You can do that, and that's absolutely in your hands. So that is why I'm saying prepare for the interview. prepare the points what you want to highlight during the interview. If you're a sports person, you can say that I have represented my state in my in my throw ball, and I have that has helped me hone my team player skills. So obviously the next question will be, how good are you a team player? So there, that way you can actually direction the entire interview to your advantage. The third important aspect is rejections are always not about you. The reason I'm saying this is, it is about the fitment to the role. For example, if I am coming to the college and trying to hire 10 female candidates, okay, that happens. Okay, this is not something which is not happening. The company might have a target. They want to hire 10 female students and 3 male students. If you are the fourth male, obviously you will be rejected. That is not about your caliber or not. It's not always. I mean, sometimes it's about your caliber and your preparation, but it's always not about your caliber and your preparation. It is about what the company wants. For example, the companies which hire in bulk, right? Like when it was during my time, companies like TCS or Accenture used to hire in bulk. So if you say that I'm going to go for higher studies, they are not going to bother about it. But companies which come and hire 1 people or 2 people, if you tell them that I'm going to go for a higher studies, obviously you're not going to get hired, because they are investing time to hire you inside the team, and they want you to stay for at least 1 or 2 years minimum. So if you're really going to go for higher studies and this is like a backup, the job is like a backup, then I mean you need to define how you want to project that. If you're projecting yourself as like this, you cannot directly project to the interviewer that this is my backup option, I'm not going to go to the job. Be very careful in what you tell because of the situation. So that's why I said you can direct the interviews, talk about your strengths, talk about your weakness, talk about what is the value add you can bring, rather than trying to just talk about ABCD, which is very objective. So third point, I would request you to remember always, all the rejections are always not about you. I mean, I had a situation where they wanted to hire a person for a factory. This is for an HR role, HR manager role in Hyderabad. Sorry, not in Hyderabad, in Andhra Pradesh. So they wanted a person who could speak in Telugu. And they were looking at people who could speak good. I mean, if the advantage was that if the person was good Telugu speaker and a good HR, they would definitely hire that person rather than others. That doesn't mean you're not good. You're not in the right place. So just see, and sometimes companies which they may require only average or little bit above average candidates. There are companies like that because their work is only like that level. So that if they find you overqualified, they might think that he's not going to stay. We might not be able to retain him. Companies think in that way as well. So rejections, do not take it as always about you. And if there is a chance, ask for a feedback. There is nobody, at least in this era, where we are kind of millennials are already in the jobs. Nobody is going to say, sorry, I cannot give you a feedback. Ask for a feedback, and confidence. That's where confidence and attitude is the key. You may be exceptionally great. You can be technically sound, but if you show an attitude where you either show it as you're a know-it-all, or if you do not allow the interviewer to speak at all, or if you're trying to break the interviewer's question into some aspects where the interviewer finds it difficult to tell you something, there will be a problem. So attitude is the key. People, gone are the days where people hire only people based on the technical skills. We all hire for attitude. We can train the skill. So it's about the attitude which is going to make a difference. Last point, have a conversation. Interview is two-way. It's not all about you. The interviewer doesn't want to just know about yourself. You also can know about the company. You are also a decision maker, right? You can decide whether you want the job or not. So always ask the interviewer, what about the company, what looks for you. I mean, don't ask the interviewer. I have seen people asking fantasy questions like, what is your company's 5-year vision, what is your company's growth pattern, what is going to be the profit, I see that there was a loss. Sorry, that's not something that's good enough, very good. But ask about you. Ask about what is the expectation from me as a candidate, what is the expectation from what do you think will be my 5-year plan, or what do you think will be my career growth like. So ask questions always. That will help you make the decision whether it's a right company or not. So that's something that will help you during the interview process. And in the HR interview is done for 2-3 reasons. One, the HR interview is done to check your communication and attitude. As I said, whether you're able to speak good and whether you're able to, whether you're trainable in terms of attitude. Okay. The second reason why an HR interview is done is to see the fitment for the company. As I said, we might look for 10 female candidates and you are a male candidate. We might not want to take, right? That's aspect. That is why an HR interview is done. And third, the HR interview is done to gauge you and to see how invested you are in the process. Whether you're attending for the heck of it or whether you're really attending for taking this interview, an HR can see through that questions. So that is why an HR interview happens. And HR interview happens not as a filtration, but more like to check your fitment into the organization. So if at all, I'm saying it straight and fact, if at all you're rejected in an HR interview, it could be because of your communication, attitude, or the intent what you have shown. Otherwise, you are not going to get rejected. And the last point is the fitment. Otherwise, no HR is going to reject you during an HR interview. And next, the corporate journey. So now the job, as I said, the job market is hot. You have cleared the interviews and now you're in a corporate journey. It's not a Jurassic Park. It's just an extension of your class. That's it. It's people always talk about professional relationships. You and Naren sir have a professional relationship. I and Naren sir have a professional relationship. It's about how you maintain the network. That's all about corporate journey. Okay. Important thing, get a mentor. Your manager can be a mentor sometimes, but sometimes it cannot happen, unfortunately. But always get a mentor. The mentor can be within your organization. The mentor can be somebody outside. The mentor can be any of your, maybe if you're planning to do an research, you know an alumni who has done a research and who is a research scholar, they can also be a mentor. They will help you guide your career in a corporate world. Third point is you can't control everything. When you step into the corporate journey, you have to get to a situation where, like, half of the things you can control what you can do. Some things are beyond people's control. Like the pandemic was beyond anybody's control, right? So always, I have also seen people where freshers get into the organization. They do not, they feel little bit out because now everybody's in a virtual working environment, right? So they don't know how the other team members work. They don't know whom to reach out to. They feel scared to reach out to their managers. Leave all that. Be open, be transparent. Ask questions, go directly to your manager. I'm sure if you have attended any other alumni talks, everybody would have said the same thing. You have to go and reach out to people. Fourth thing is integrity is the key. That's my personal favorite. Whether someone is watching you or not watching you, be ethical, be integral. It's going to help you in some part of the journey. There are situations where I've seen people at very VP level people, they instead of 100 rupee bill, they put 1,000 rupee bill, and that might be a small thing, but that spoils the reputation of a person. So always be direct. People keep things like this in the mind. They don't leave it just like that. And it's a very small world. People ask feedback about you, so be always honest and straightforward. And the last thing is networking always helps. I don't know how many of you are already in LinkedIn, but create a LinkedIn account. LinkedIn is like the new, I could say, job portal or new thing. Everybody gets connected in LinkedIn. Create a LinkedIn account, keep your LinkedIn account up to date, and ask people, connect with people in your domain. If you want to, for example, I'm just giving an example. If you want to join a chemical, if you want to join a industry, like you want to join a chemical company, like you want to join L&T hydrocarbons, we have our own alumni. Like I have a batchmate who's working in L&T hydrocarbons. Connect with him now only. Ask him about how things are. Ask whether that's the right choice. You never know, right? When you graduate, there will be a job opportunity and you will be the first person who comes to that person's mind. So these are some things which will help you in networking. Is very important. Create your LinkedIn account and create any kind of account and connect with people whom you think will help you in your career. That might help you to get a mentor also. So that's it from my end. It's quite short because I thought if any questions are there, it will be more helpful rather than me just talking.
Yeah, so that's very nice, Supraja. So in the meantime, when somebody students to put the questions, and make use of the good opportunity. But before they put the questions, let them think. So I'll ask the first question.
Sure, sir.
How a CV should be there? I mean, what should not be there or what should be there?
Okay.
Something on that.
Sure. So I will consider this question you're asking for freshers because they're all students. So your CV mainly should highlight about your achievements and not about, for example, if you have led a symposium, right? You can probably, instead of just writing I was a coordinator in the symposium, you can write successfully led the symposium in the year 2014 to help to and attracted 200 participants. So quantify your achievements, and this is not only for people who have graduated. I mean, people who are freshers, even graduated people. If you have done a successful internship, you can mention that successfully completed an internship. Use positive affirmation words in your CV, and don't need to put things which are very trivial. Like I have seen people putting things. I mean, at the later stage of the career, they put things like I was like school first I did a school first in my Sanskrit in my 12th standard. That's not relevant. If you're a school first, that's relevant, but school first in Sanskrit in 12th standard is not relevant. So put things which actually helps you for the job. And one important thing is so do they get the job descriptions before the interview, for any interviews they go? So can you hear me?
I'm able to hear you.
Yeah, do students get the job descriptions before they go for the interview?
I don't know. I think somebody else only should answer here.
Not all the time. Sometimes we get, sometimes we don't.
Okay, so if you're lucky to get a job description, look at the job description and see if your CV is relevant to the job description. For example, if you have done a certification in MATLAB and the job description talks about MATLAB, highlight that point. That will help the interviewer to pick you rather than picking others. So see whether what you have done and what the JD talks or what the role wants is similar. And for example, if you're attending interview for TCS and you're a chemical engineer, obviously the interviewer knows that you're not a CSE engineer. But if you have done some, if you have studied C on your own, or if you have taken some classes on your own, highlight those points, which will help the recruiter or the hiring manager to feel that, okay, he has taken efforts for this role, so let me give him a chance. So these are some things which will help to put in a CV, and always put a career objective statement, and do not copy it from Google. Okay, because if they see 100 CVs and 50 CVs have the same objective statement, that looks like somebody cannot even prepare an objective statement, right? So prepare it on your own. It's going to take maybe 20 minutes of your thinking time, but prepare something on your own.
Okay, so that's nice because that's a common thing which I see is most of the time CV is either blank or CV is something they have written which is not corroborated by evidence. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I used to tell students, they write like I work hard, and then I used to immediately joke as though others are not working hard or you're the only person who will work hard. I said, where is that work hard? Right. I mean, so that's nice that they are taking from you. Yeah. So anybody wants to unmute and ask the question? I don't know if this is strange. Or you want to text?
Hi. So can I talk? I just
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Supraja.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. It was a great presentation, and I totally agree with you on Excel. So you really have to do that. No matter what field you're in, it's very important. And yeah, and rejections are not all about you. So you really, really highlighted all the important points, and it was very insightful and very accurate. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Lakshmi Priya. So she's my classmate and she's my friend. So very happy that you're also corroborating whatever I said.
Yeah, it was like very accurate. I think like all of you need to note down whatever Supraja talked about today and start applying that because it's the reality.
Fantastic. That's Lakshmi. When somebody said, can I speak? Lakshmi, good. Right. Yeah. So anybody wants to unmute and ask the question?
So Akash, did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's clear. Yeah, we got some idea from that.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other thoughts?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is Ella Vignesh from fourth year. I just have one question which I was very curious to know. What does an interviewer actually expect? They tell at the end of the interview, like, do you have any questions to me? What is actually the intent behind that question?
Okay.
What is the ideal question that you are as a what is at the other side? What do they expect from us?
No, there's no ideal question. Okay. I mean, that I have seen a lot of people they go to Google and they see what questions to ask, and they ask some really crazy questions. Like you won't even the CEO of the company might not need those details. They ask those kind of questions. So the interviewer wants to know what is it that you expect from the company. You could ask questions like, as I think I highlighted during the talk, you could ask questions like, what is the expectation from you if you join the company? If you're talking to a manager who's taking your interview, right? If he's a technical person, you can ask, what do you expect from me once I join? What do you think will make me an ideal candidate for this role? You could ask about your career progression, because as I said, Vignesh, you are also making a decision. It's not the company only which is making a decision, it's your career. Okay, so you have to ask whether the company is able to suit you to that. If you ask questions like, what is going to be my career growth, that means you want to know how long you will be in that company, right? So in the interviewer might feel good, okay, the person is invested. So that's something which is important. There is no ideal question. Don't go to Google, don't try to copy somebody else's question. So obviously, I as an interviewee also will have some questions about the company, right? Be honest and be asked. Don't ask as a fresher, don't ask questions like, what's going to be my compensation package? I'm being candid because the company would have already decided the compensation package and only come for the interview. So ask questions about your career, ask questions about the expectations from the role, and ask questions which will make you comfortable to join that company. As I said, interview is two-way. Don't feel that the company, you are at the other end of the mercy of the company. The company also needs you. Keep that in mind always.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
There is one question, Supraja.
Yes. What is that attitude you look out for in applicants? How would you know if they are trainable? Okay.
So Shweta is actually an alumni.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I don't know how senior an alumni she is, but
No.
2018 batch.
okay, 2018 batch. Okay, so the attitude what is looked for the applicants is mainly to see whether they are compatible with the team. You are not going to, whatever position you are not going to work in isolation. You are going to work with a team, and you are going to work with a manager, and you are going to work in a structured environment, in an organizational environment, right? So we want to see whether you are compatible. If there are points whether, how do you say no? You might have some disagreements within the team itself, right? So we try to understand, how do you say no to a question? We try to understand whether you say no at all. You cannot be without challenging the people, right? So that is one kind of attitude. And the attitude which we do not want to see, which as an interviewer or which as an HR do not want to see, is being like a know-it-all, right? Like if an interviewer is talking, this is live examples, I'm not exaggerating, live examples. If an interviewer is talking, they try to not listen, they be a poor listener, and they keep on trying to emphasize their own point. That's going to continue during the corporate journey as well. And if the interviewer asks some question, if they don't even try, they just say that, no, I don't know. That's not the attitude, right? At least you try. Even if you don't know completely, if you're totally blank, you could put it in a better way. I think this may be a requirement for the role, but I am not well versed with it. It would be good if you can give me some ideas about that, or let me know the source. I can go and study about that. But at this point, I'm not well versed with this concept. Instead of blatantly saying that, sorry, I don't know, without even trying, at least you can try. Some interviewers just look for whether you can try. They know that you cannot answer that question, but at least how you're able to say no, or how you're able to say don't know. because this will continue, because you might face some problems in your company while working. If you directly go with problems only to your manager, that's not the candidate anybody wants, right? You can go with the problem and with the solution. That will help you.
Okay, so good. So yeah, there's another question.
Many people are telling that for chemical engineers, we should go for higher studies. If we go for any placements, will it be beneficial? Will we get a good placement to a good core company? Okay. So first thing is, many people are telling for chemical engineers, we should go to higher studies.
He's a second year student.
Okay, so higher studies, if you want to go into research, if you want to go into research area, or if you're going to go into a teaching, like a very highly qualified teaching profession, higher studies would definitely help you to be more knowledgeable than the others. Obviously, a BTech pass out, Naren sir is going to be highly knowledgeable than a BTech pass out, right? So higher studies will definitely help you to gauge that aspect. And if you want to go into research, obviously you need in-depth knowledge. But going for placements and will it be beneficial? It's definitely going to be beneficial. I have many of my classmates working in core companies, right? And you should just have the right mindset for it. I'm not sure if you know, I would like to quote one of my classmates, Subraja. He's currently working in Vizag. So he works in plants, like industrial plants. You need to have the right mindset for that. That's all. If you are looking at an environment where you want to sit in an AC cabin and you want to do a research, then you cannot go for a core company. But if your calling is to work in a core company, to understand the process, to understand the dynamics, then that is not a bad choice at all. There are a lot of companies there are a lot of chemical companies, and according to me, everything is chemical, right from your toothpaste to the petrochemical, it's all chemicals. So working in a chemical factory or working in a core is definitely not a bad choice at all. You are in demand. Definitely you are in demand.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, there's another question. The curriculum offered in NDA would have been different from engineering courses. Okay. So the curriculum offered in MBA, yes, it was different from the engineering courses. The only subject which I struggled is economics, because others are all, as I said, right, economics I struggled because I couldn't see the tangible aspect of it. You see a lot of demand, supply, law of diminishing margins. So you don't understand what is diminishing margins here. What is diminishing? You can't see it in your eyes, right? But in chemical engineering or in any other engineering, you see the actual reaction in your eyes. So that's where you struggle with. But I do not I do not have the fear or inhibition to ask help. I had classmates who had done major in economics. So I go and understand. They are BA economics graduates. So I go sit with them. I understood what happened. How do they explain that? And I was good in statistics, right? Because I was an engineer, I was good in statistics. People came to me to understand what's about statistics. So it's about asking for help. Never shy to ask for help. Struggles all will happen, but never shy to ask for help. Anybody can help you, be it your peer, be it your senior, super senior, even junior, they could help you. So ask for help whenever you have an opportunity or whenever you feel difficult.
Okay. So I just have another question before the next question. Somebody think. Yeah, there's another question, so you can take it and then I'll come back to this.
Sure. Hello, ma'am. I'm Jeffrey. What is your opinion in engineering cum management as masters? Also, idea about start company after stable income. Okay. So first, I'll answer the second question. Starting a company after stable income. Starting a company, becoming an entrepreneur needs a very, very different mindset. It's not the mindset which is it is a different breed altogether. You need to be ready to face failures every day. Having said that, you will be having a situation where you face success also every day, but you need to be having that mindset to face failure every day. And financially, that would be a little bit difficult for me to answer. It's about what do you call as a stable income. But if you're financially backed up, go for the risk. And if you're a risk taker, entrepreneurship is good. I'm not a risk taker. I mean, if given a chance where I get 10,000 rupees today, or if I invest somewhere and get 1 lakh later, I would choose to get 10,000 rupees today. I don't have the entrepreneur mindset. But if you're a risk taker and if you think that you can handle pressure, go for entrepreneurship. That's a different level altogether. And their networking is very important. And about opinion in engineering come management as masters, I mean, I don't know what is engineering come management if you're talking about masters in engineering management or things. But management, in any management course, they're going to teach you. It's not going to be like engineering where they teach you about the basics, concepts, things like that. Because it's not about learning every day. They're going to give you assignments. They're going to give you actual situations which will test your decision making skills, which will test your analytical skills, and which will test your thinking power. I mean, engineering also tests your thinking power, but in management there is no right or wrong answers. So it's a good field as well. I mean, there's no context about whether it's a bad field or good field. Management never will lose its charm. So I've heard many people talk now that management is losing the charm. Everybody is a manager, right? Everybody studies management, but you need managers at all levels, right? So management is not going to lose its charm. So never fear about that.
Yeah, that once upon a time, the co-founder of Byju's came to our college and said that there's some colleges in India are offering engineering cum management, where the course offers some elective course regarding the engineering perspective. So if a candidate is completed the course, then he will be eligible to sit for both a managerial role as well as engineering perspective. So he will be wide scope for his career. So it is true, or it is worth as of now? Like
that's a good information to me as well. And if you get to that level, I think that's very good. But as I said, Jeffrey, right? Yeah, as I said, Jeffrey, don't get into the aspect that you will be in an engineering role, management role, nothing like that. Even in management, there is a specialization called operations, where I have my colleagues working in. Actually, they're working in chemical plants as operations managers. So there is no distinction between engineering or MBA directly. You might not be working in technical area, but you might be working in the supply logistics. You might be working in the overall process management, things like that. So that's how the career will get shaped up. So it's MBA is not only about finance marketing, right? It's also about operations. There's also operations, supply chain management, procurement, even engineering management, where you handle everyday materials. Those are all come under engineering management.
Okay, so the other question which I have, as this is again for the students. I thought somebody will ask, but nobody asked. Probably I don't know if they are all already know the answer. I do not know, so I want to hear from you. The question that is more difficult to answer when somebody asks me is, introduce about yourself.
Yes, I kind of touched that during my presentation, sir.
Yeah, but then like if you can see that here also, like many of the time people are not very outspoken, because like we are asking somebody to speak or interact, it takes a lot of time for them. So should students work on that? Because can you be like just within your shell and then you expect that somebody will come and then ask you? It's not just at the interview time, but even when they join a company, when there are meetings happening on, if you don't open up your mouth and if you don't take initiatives, if you don't come forward and you just do the work that is given to you, or if only do the work if it is asked, this attitude versus taking initiatives and taking, I mean, like for example, in this meet itself, I asked, like we have to ask 2-3 times, ask questions, and then only the question starts coming. This may not be the case. This may not be appreciated in a company, right? So that's a kind of attitude I just want to ask you, so that students should start thinking on that. I mean, they cannot be so reserved or have any preconceived notions that if they ask, text something, somebody will think bad of them, blah, 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 and something on that. And as usual, the standard interview question on tell about yourself means, okay, I'm Naren, I'm born in that. After that, there's a full stop. That's it.
Yes.
Okay, so you can take it that.
Sure. So as you said, sir, gone are the days. If you are a person who is not talking, forget the job. I would say that gone are the days when people try to look at, if there are 100 people, they try to search for the best candidate. Not like that. You have to fight. You have to fight for the intense competition. So you might see here, as Naren sir said, we asked 3 times and you had the opportunity. There could be situations in the company where if you don't talk, your ideas might be told by somebody else. Sorry, you have missed the boat. That's it. So that is why, as I said, right, even Charan has asked another question, which I will touch upon with the same answer. When somebody, you can steer the complete interview with "Tell me about yourself" itself. Again, I'm saying I'm not talking about the technical interview. If they're asking questions about explain the thermodynamics reaction of this, obviously you cannot steer it in your own way. But I'm talking about the personal aspect. If they ask, "Tell me about yourself," be open and talk about your interest areas. Be open and talk about your strengths. Be open and talk about you can talk about your weakness also. You can say, I feel that, I mean, maybe not too much, but a little bit about what do you think is your scope of improvement. We can put it as scope of improvement. And how can you steer the interview? For example, if you think you're very, very good in thermodynamics, okay, you can start by talking about, my favorite subject is thermodynamics. I have done some courses here and this is my favorite part. The interviewer's natural next question will be about thermodynamics. They will not try to ask about something else. That way you are putting your strong foot forward. Instead of waiting for the interviewer to come and ask you questions about some other field where you are totally zero, you're actually asking the interviewer to, you're putting words in his mouth, and asking the interviewer to talk. And you can talk about areas like, I'm a very confident team player. The interviewer might ask, how are you a team player? You can give examples like, you can say, I was the captain of a volleyball team in my college. I maintained the team without, by motivating them every day. The interviewer will get a perception that, okay, he is a team player. He can be good along with the team. Or you can even say that, if suppose you have taken an initiative in your college, for example, if you have taken an initiative to write a paper, tell that and talk about yourself. Tell about yourself itself. In the first introduction itself, tell that I have actually written a paper. This is the publication. I'm interested in that area. The interviewer's natural next question will be wanting to be knowing about yourself. Interview is not an exam. Do not confuse interview with an exam where you are only supposed to answer the questions which is there. Interview is knowing you. So they want to know you. So put your best foot forward. Don't try to wait to, if the interviewer will not come with the question paper. Or even if the interviewer comes with the question paper, if they find you interesting, they are going to forget the question paper.
That's good.
Did I answer?
You want to take Charan's?
Yeah, so I kind of touched
Answer.
upon that. It's about how to steer it is about talk about your strength areas. Like, as I said, if you're good in thermodynamics, talk about thermodynamics. Just tell that you're interested in thermodynamics.
I'm very happy that you're again telling thermodynamics.
I am scared that if I say fluid dynamics, you will ask me questions about fluid dynamics. So it's better I talk about thermodynamics.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yes. So that's nice. Yeah. Because that is what even I was trying to force. Like, why we should ask in such a platform that ask questions. It should naturally flow, right? If 2-3 times we are asking and then you are still hesitant, it actually shows a kind of attitude that probably you're not interested in that activity, or probably you don't have any lateral thinking, or there is no thinking at all. I don't know which one of that. And it is easier to frame these opinions. Maybe in cinema, I think there is one cinema like where you have the heroine come and asking the hero, okay, now you can talk and all this. But I really do not know whether that happens in industry, in company, in reality.
No, I mean, in the companies have a lot of choices. Okay, 100 people come for interview, so you have to make yourself different. Show that you are different. That's important.
Yeah, and you need to take initiative. You need to be vocal, right? So that's one clear message to the students. So I wish that people will keep. You should have some questions. You should have always something to ask. You should have always something to express. It's not about asking questions. There should be some idea, some thinking. Okay, you spoke about this. I find it nice. That's all. This
Very,
is its
very
own
valid
subject.
point, sir. Very valid point. Yes,
Right.
that's
It need not be always question what is apple, what is orange. Okay, you talked about grapes. I find it nice. That's all. That's okay. Right. That way of something I wish the students will take it up. So you need to be expressive enough with someone else. So, okay, so it's already 9 o'clock. So is there any last few questions that somebody wants to ask? And another
Yes,
question.
sir, I would like to ask a question.
Yeah, Venkatanathan. Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, thank you, ma'am, for spending time with us and sharing your ideas and thoughts. It was really wonderful. My question is not something that happens in interview or something. Mine was is something that is like that you faced during your college days, like a shift from engineering to MBA is like you're learning something and you had the courage to explore something that is entirely different. And nowadays with so many technology and so many medium for us to gather information, how do you channel your curiosity and find out what you really are passionate about? Like what is your thought and idea on that, how to focus on finding out what we truly want?
okay. I mean, that's very interesting for me because I couldn't channel my curiosity. I mean, I started with me wanting to be a veterinary doctor. So I just put it as doctor, but I wanted to be a veterinary doctor. So it started from there. And how I channeled my curiosity into MBA, as I said, the turning point was the symposium, where I felt that I am better in that than sitting in my room doing calculations. So you will feel that spark sometime, and you will feel that you were good in some area when you are given a hard push, right? When you are coming to a situation like I was given a hard push, whether you want to sit for placement or you want to do something else. Sitting for placement didn't I didn't even sit for placements in Shastra. I mean, that's not an example, but I didn't even sit for placements in Shastra because I didn't feel that I was losing out. However, when I was given a situation where you might not be doing MBA, I felt that fear. Oh my God, what if I cannot do MBA at all? So that you naturally get that feeling. You are okay with something, but you're not okay with something, losing something else. So when you get a situation where you're pushed to shove, right, where you're pushed to shove and you have to make a choice, you will get the natural calling. So don't look at different mediums or don't look at somebody as an example. Obviously, you have a role model. You can look at that person as an example, but don't look at somebody example and say that he's good because he might be having the knack of doing that, but you might not have the knack of doing that. So go to an area where you feel that if you lose that, you're losing something big in your life. When you get that feeling, that is your calling. That has worked in my case actually.
Thank you, ma'am. That was actually well put. Like view on it. Thank you, ma'am.
Sure.
So the last sentence is very fantastic, Supraja. Go to that point where if you are losing something, you should really feel that you have lost something very big.
Yes.
Right. So that's very fantastic. Anybody else? Any other questions somebody wants to ask? Career, okay, good. Okay, so if there are no other questions, if anybody wants to first give a closing comment, and then I will formally close. So you want to express your thanks to Supraja, you're welcome to unmute and speak first. Yes. I think there is a small lag. Okay, right. Okay, so I will take this opportunity. So this is again first something that you have to learn. When somebody is asking, come on, speak, you should be able to speak, right? And we should be able to tell, no, it's okay. 3 people cannot speak, only 1 should speak. But I could see that no, still the current generation students are very reserved. So that means still you need to grow up. When I say, okay, now I want people to speak, who are all there? There should be names coming up. That is what is the central message which Supraja convinced us, probably conveyed us through her experiences. And if you can take up this message and implement, I think that would be the befitting tribute to Supraja, to thank her, right? So it's not about the time, the effort that she has put. What would be giving her more happiness? Not you can really take up their central message and implement it also, right? It's not just coming here today and just listening and everything. It should be implemented. It should come in action, right? So the one key message that I want to again highlight from lots of the other messages that she has poured in is be your own person, right? So that's what she even touched up at the end. Be your own person, find what you want, and always be ready to take initiatives and come forward. Thanks a lot, Supraja. That's very, very nice to come. And I hope there are many in that list. And we meet in those years, right? Yet there was a lot of networking happen. So I think the current students should take benefit of this. You are now able to see someone who is like 2014 graduate from Shastra and have got an opportunity to interact. So make use of this platform, be interactive and network, and it will certainly reap harvest for you. And you should also continue this for your subsequent generations, right? So I'm very happy to have again someone from the 2014 batch.
Sure.
Thank you, Supraja.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm really happy to be here. And to all, I mean, I know you're not in a situation where you're pushed or shoved, but so anytime you want to connect, please feel free to connect. And happy to, I mean, if I'm able to help you in any way, definitely will be able to help you. And thank you, Naren sir. I mean, you are more than us. You are the best, I can say, in networking. So they have to learn from you as well.
No, I have given to your batch. That's all. So now you have done your batch. Now it's for somebody else to keep carry on, right? I cannot come all the way the journey. The journey has to go, and at appropriate times, people will just keep continuing the journey. That's it.
Sure, sir.
Right. So thanks to all. I'll just stop the recording now.